Chapter 1. Our Skeletal System. Our body is a wonderful machine. It is made up of many parts or organs, each of which performs special functions. The lungs, the heart, the kidneys, and the brain are some of the major organs of our body. All organs in the body work together with each other. The teamwork of our bones and muscles is amazing. A group of organs together makes up an organ system. For example, the stomach alone cannot digest food. Other organs, such as teeth, salivary gland, food pipe, small intestine, large intestine, liver, pancreas, and some other work together with the stomach to digest the food we eat and throw out the waste from our body. The organs which help to digest food together form the digestive system. The muscular system helps in the movement of our body. The nervous system controls the working of the internal organs, our movement, and even our thoughts and emotions. The respiratory, the circulatory, and the reproductive systems also perform their respective functions. In this chapter, we will study about the skeletal system. The skeletal system. The skeletal system is a rigid framework of the bones that serves many important functions. All the bones in our body form a framework called the skeleton. Without the sturdy skeleton, our body would collapse. The skeleton gives our body its shape and strength. It also protects the brain, heart, lungs, and other soft organs inside our body. The skeleton of an adult is made up of 206 bones. At birth, we have more bones, but these join together as we grow into an adult. As we grow, bigger new cells are added to our bones, and they also become longer and larger. Bones are hard and tough from the outside, but inside they are soft and spongy. The inside of a bone contains a jelly-like material called the bone marrow, which makes blood cells in our body. Bones are living things and can mend themselves if broken. Parts of the skeleton. The human skeleton consists of the skull, the backbone, the rib cage, and the two pair of limbs, the forelimbs or arms, and the hind limbs or legs. These limbs are attached to two pairs of girdles, shoulder girdle and hip girdle. The skull. The bones of our head make up the skull. It protects the brain and contains holes for our eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. It is made up of together 22 different bones that are joined together. The upper part of our skull is made up of 8 bones and our face is made up of 14 bones. The lower jaw bone is the only moving bone in the skull. The backbone or spine. The skull is attached to the backbone, which forms the main axis of the skeleton. It is made up of 33 small bones called vertebrae. The backbone is also called the spine or the vertebral column. The joints allow slight movement of the vertebra, that is why we can bend and twist our back. Each vertebra has a hole in it. The delicate spinal cord passes through these holes. The vertebral column thus protects the spinal cord. The rib cage. There are 12 pairs of bow-shaped ribs which form a cage and enclose the heart and the lungs. The ribs are fragile and curved bones joined to the backbone and the breastbone. The two pairs of the lower ribs, which are not attached to the breastbone, are called floating ribs. The limbs, arms, and legs. The upper limbs, arms are attached to the shoulder blades. The upper arm has one long bone called the humerus. The lower arm has two long bones. The wrist and the hands have several small bones. The hip bone is made up of 3 bones joined together. The bones of lower limbs, legs, are attached to the hip bone. The upper half of the leg has a long bone called the femur or the thigh bone. The lower half of the leg has the shin bone and a calf bone. At the end of each leg is a foot that has a number of small bones. Joints. Bones join together to form joints. The end of two bones are kept apart by a thick fluid This does not allow bones to bump against each other when we move. Bones are held together at the joints by a strong fibers called ligaments. Some joints, such as those in the skulls, are fixed and do not move at all. Some joints move a little. There are four types of moving joint. Hinge joint. It acts like the hinge on a door, which allows it to open and shut only in one direction. Our knees and elbows are hinge joints. Ball and socket joint. It allows movement in all directions. Our hips and shoulders are ball and socket joints. Pivot joint. It helps the bone to move sideways, upward, and backward. The skull joins the backbone at a pivot joint. Gliding joint. In this joint, the bone can slide over each other. It is present in our wrist and ankles and also between any two vertebrae of the spine. It also side to side as well as backward and forward movement. The muscular system. Our bones cannot move by themselves. They need something to move them. The muscle attached to the bone pull the bones to make them move at the joints. Every movement needs muscle. There are about 640 muscles in our body. Together they make up about 40% of our body weight. Muscles are made up of tough elastic tissues. They are attached to the bones by a tough bands of tissue called tendons. Muscles can only pull the bones. They cannot push. So, to move the bones in one direction, at least two muscles are required. For example, two muscles called biceps and triceps move our lower arm up and down. When we want to raise our arm, the biceps in front becomes the shorter, contracts and pulls up the arm. To lower the arm, the triceps at the back contracts the pulls the arm down. Type of muscles. We can raise or lower our arm, kick with our leg, or write with our hands whenever we want to. The muscles which control this movement are in our control. They are called voluntary muscles. But we cannot control the movement of our stomach. It is controlled by the muscles that work on their own. They are not under our control. They are called involuntary muscles. They are found in the stomach, intestines, and the walls of the blood vessels. Our heart is made up of a special kind of tough muscles called cardiac muscles. It is an involuntary muscle that works throughout our lifetime without getting tired. Care of muscles. To keep the muscles in a good shape, we must maintain a good posture while we sit or stand or walk. Our body is an amazing machine. We must look after it properly. We must exercise and rest adequately. We must have a healthy diet. We must not eat junk food.